Those of you watching the LCS recently may have seen a clip a couple weeks ago in one of their shorts where Monte Cristo talked about how he plans to apply classic military tactics to CLG's strategy, and even shows a clip of him giving each member of CLG a copy of The Art of War. Well, I'm not sure how many of you remember this, but I used to have a series on my channel where I took you through each chapter of The Art of War and applied the lessons learned to League of Legends. Those of you who do remember it probably also remember that I never finished it. So, with the recent interest you guys have been showing on Facebook and Twitter, we're going to finish off these last couple of chapters, starting today with Chapter 10. Let's get into it. Chapter 10 deals with two major topics. 1, the different kinds of terrains you'll encounter, and 2, the relationship between a general and his troops. We've already talked about terrain in a previous episode and in other videos on my channel, and it admittingly does have less of an effect in League as opposed to real life, even if it does have a fairly significant one, but that second part is very important, and there are some ground rules he lays down that are very applicable and necessary for you all to know. An army is exposed to 6 calamities, not arising from natural causes, but from the faults of which the general is responsible. Just replace general with shot caller or something like that in these quotes. These are flight, insubordination, collapse, ruin, disorganization, and rout. Other conditions being equal, if one force is hurled against another 10 times its size, the result will be flight of the former. Here Sun Tzu is starting us off pretty basic. If one weaker team forcibly engages another much stronger one because the leader demands it, he'll lose his men and everyone will flee the battle, eventually getting picked off if the other force has the opportunity. When the common soldiers are too strong and their officers too weak, the result is insubordination. If the team members are stronger, smarter, and better than their shot caller, to a degree where it's clear for everyone to see at least, whoever's leading them, or trying to, won't be taken seriously, and members will often do the opposite of what he commands, splitting the team in two. Conversely, when the officers are too strong and the common soldiers too weak, the result is collapse. It works the other way too. If the officers are energetic and over-pursue enemies while team members are weak, either mentally exhausted or physically from a recent fight, pushing too far will result in giving up whatever advantage you previously had. If you win a team fight, take advantage of your victory, maybe grab a few towers, dragons, or even an inhib, but staying too long will always end up getting at least someone killed. Ruin occurs when a shot caller or leader is angry without cause, taking frustrations out on other officers and subordinates. This will bring a fierce resentment and an avalanche of ruin upon his head. No matter who your team's shot caller is, or even if you don't have a designated one, just whoever's suggesting where to go, they have to keep a level head and set an example for attitude within the team. In the footage you're watching now, our Jinx took charge early on after doing fairly well in lane, but after a few bad teamfights later on in the game, she began losing her temper and almost convinced us to surrender even though we'd end up winning the game. When the general is weak and without authority and the ranks are formed in a slovenly, haphazard manner, the result is utter disorganization. If a commander gives orders without forcefulness and confidence, his soldiers will follow through with the same lack of commitment. Again, whether you have a designated shot caller or just 1 to 2 people who ping the map for your team, you need to show conviction with your movements and decisions, otherwise half-heartedly taking an objective or shoving a lane will allow your opponent to engage and find weakness in your lines. And finally, when a general is unable to estimate the enemy's strength or hurls a weak detachment against a powerful one, the result must be rout. For our purposes, pretty much the same as flight. In League, it's important to have a mutual understanding within your team, whether you have someone being a designated shot caller, or you just have a few people who occasionally ping the map and take charge if the team refuses to group. The relationship between teammates and the emotions that are brought out throughout the game will ultimately decide whether you win or lose. Respecting everyone and keeping a level head will be key to not having everything unravel in solo queue, and pre-made teams should do their best to follow a similar structure of guidelines when shaping their attitudes. When playing solo queue though, if you ever feel like you're starting to lose your cool because of a bad teammate thinking you might cause collapse or ruin, try to remember everyone has a bad game once in a while, but that's no reason to look down on a teammate. They got to relatively the same rating you're at, so they deserve just as much respect as you do. Everyone on your team should be treated fairly, and if you can do your best to keep calm and not get too upset, you'll have a hugely positive effect on your team, even if your rating is filled with trolls lulls and AFKs. It may be wishful thinking, hoping that a team has the same level of respect that Sun Tzu asks of, but at the very least, you can guarantee that you'll do your best to not get stuck in any of these faults. Thank you very much for watching, good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.